Using at least the first and last of the rollers, put hands on the ropes and slings and feet on the rollers to get from platform to platform. For the next obstacle, taking the hooks in each hand and leaving the platform before putting one in another ring. Use as many or as few of the rings as needed to get both hooks to the last two rings before dismounting to the platform. That means that if you do drop a hook before you get them in the last two rings, then you do fail the obstacle. You can only grab onto the black section of the hooks, no grabbing onto the orange section, and no using feet on the side supports there that are covered in black. Those are incidental contacts, okay, but you're not allowed to use them or grab them with your feet. So once both are in, dismounting onto the red. Up next, using as many or as few of the ropes as needed to get from the starting platform to the dismount area, which is past the green line of tape. Make sure it's all the way past and not on the green line of tape. Up next is the balance area. Starting behind the green line of tape, walk along the tops of the beams only to get from platform to the box. Up next, grabbing onto the hex, use each of the elements in this obstacle, which means these wheels and the hexes, that's 4 elements in total, to get from platform to platform. You can only grab onto the bottom holds on the hexes. You can't grab onto the middle or over the top or into those handles, just the holds that you can see being used here, and dismounting from the last hex onto the blue box to finish the obstacle. This next obstacle is going to be different for different age groups. For the kids division, starting on the red box, you can generate as much momentum as you like before you mount it, and you can also reset if you need to, as long as you haven't taken more than 20 seconds rest. Going from the tick-tock to the ring, and the ring onto the first flywheel, dismount straight from the flywheel onto the trampoline, and in as many jumps as needed, jump from the trampoline onto the bar, and then lâché from the bar onto the yellow mat to finish the obstacle. Now for the mature kids and preteens division, it's the same start where the tick-tock, they can generate as much momentum as they like. However, when they are doing the tick-tock, they're going straight to the first flywheel. They're not having a ring in the middle. So go from the tick-tock to the flywheel, and from there, it's going flywheel straight to the trampoline. And again, as many jumps as needed, jump from the trampoline onto the green bar. So again, flywheel, and watch out on the backswing on this one that you don't make contact or get cleaned up by the tick-tock. So just watch your backswing. From there onto the trampoline. Doesn't have to be in one jump. Again, as many jumps as needed, and then transfer from the bar onto the yellow mat as with the other age group. For the kids and mature kids division, this one will be slightly different. So they're going to start from the red box and go onto the bar, complete a lâché between each of these elements. So it's a lâché to the first fidget spinner, a lâché to the second fidget spinner, and a lâché to the third fidget spinner. From the third fidget spinner, it's completing a dismount past the line of tape onto the red mat. For the preteens division, it starts the same. So it's a lâché to the fidget spinner. No spanning on this one. All these moves must be a lâché. You can grab any of the 3 rings of the fidget spinner, that's fine, but as long as you make sure you only do a lâché. And then from the third fidget spinner, instead of going straight to the dismount, you're going to lâché from the third fidget spinner onto a lâché bar, the green lâché bar that you can see in the video. From that bar, you must complete a dismount into the indicated dismount area, which is the yellow mat. From there, the kids division is going to go up the smallest warp wall, grabbing onto the orange bar and climbing up to the top. You get 3 attempts at all warp walls, regardless of height. Your best attempt is the one that counts, and hitting the buzzer to end the run. The mature kids division are going to go up without the bar, so just going straight to the top of the smallest wall. Again, same rules apply with 3 attempts as needed. And finally, the preteens division are going to step it up a bit, and they're going to go to the orange bar and then climb to the side and hit the buzzer on top of the smaller wall to finish the run. First obstacle is the rollers. Using hands on the ropes and feet on the rollers only. Use at least the first and last roller to get from the starting platform to the black dismount box. For the next obstacle, you must leave the platform before you place a hook in the second ring. And once you've left the platform, use as many or as few moves as needed to put the hooks on the edge of the cliff ledges to get to the next set of rings, and finally put the hooks in the last set of rings, so one in each of the last two rings that are different colored. Once there's a hook in each ring, you can then dismount to the dismount area, which is the red mat. That means if you do drop a hook at any point, you have failed the obstacle. Up next, starting behind the green line, feet along the bottom holds and hands on the bungees and ropes only. Use as many or as few of the ropes and bungees as needed to get from behind the first green line to past the second green line indicated here on the floor. Up next, walking along the balance beams, starting behind the green line, the tops of the beams only, stepping over the black without making contact, going along the spinning log and going onto the beam. You must use all beams. Up next, grabbing the pegs, again leaving the platform before taking a peg out of the peg hole on the hex, and then using each of the bird cages, get a peg into the last bird cage before grabbing onto the pegs in the last hex and then dismounting. So if you do drop a peg, you can use one of the excess pegs that are around. You can only put hands on the pegs. You're not allowed to grab the boxes with your hands. So only hands on the peg, but you can use the peg to maneuver the boxes if you need to. So again, once you've got the last peg in the bird box, you can go onto the pegs in the hex, and from those pegs dismount to the platform. This one, you can generate as much momentum as you can while you're on the platform, but once you have mounted the TikTok, you cannot return to the starting platform for safety reasons. When you're ready, transfer from the TikTok onto the flywheel. Just be aware that if you have too much momentum, the TikTok can make contact with you again. Go from flywheel to flywheel. These must be laches, and then do a dismount directly to the trampoline. From the trampoline, in as many bounces as needed, go up to the salmon ladder bar before dismounting onto the yellow mat. Up next, starting on the red box, going straight to the first fidget spinner. Complete a lache from the first fidget spinner, grabbing any part of the fidget spinner is fine. Complete a lache from the fidget spinner up to the green bar, trapeze bar, and then from that bar going to the second fidget spinner, and from the second fidget spinner, completing a lache to the second trapeze bar, and from the next trapeze bar to the third fidget spinner, and from the fidget spinner dismounting onto the yellow mat. You can't go past the yellow mat, you must hit the yellow mat. For the teens division, they're going to run up the warp wall. They get 3 attempts, and they have to get to the purple bar. From the purple bar, climb to the side and hit the buzzer to end the run. 30 seconds rest between each attempt as needed. Using hands on the ropes and feet on the rollers, use at least the first and last roller to get from the wooden starting platform to the black dismount platform. For the next obstacle, you must leave the platform before taking any of the hooks and putting them into the rings. So you can take them out, but you can't put them onto the ring until you've left the platform. Then, in as many or as few moves as needed, get the hooks along the cliff ledges to reach the black ring, and get a hook in each of the last two rings before dismounting to the side platform. That means if you do drop a hook, you have failed the obstacle. Up next, starting behind the green line, feet on the bottom holds and hands on as many or as few of the bungees and ropes as needed. No grabbing of the rock climbing holds. You must grab the bungees or the ropes. Get from the first green line to pass the second green line onto the dismount platform there. Up next, it's going to be the balance walk. Starting behind the green line, walk along the tops of the long ways beams, not contacting any of the sideways beams, using all of the beams and stepping over the black and horizontal beams to get to the platform. You must leave the platform before taking a peg out of the starting holes, and then using the pegs only, so no contacting the bird box with your hands and grabbing them. Get the pegs until there are 2 pegs in the bottom holes of the last hex, before dismounting to the platform. If you do drop a peg, that means you can go back and get one of the other pegs and bring them in, but you need to have 2 in the hex before you dismount the platform. Up next, using the TikTok, generate as much momentum as you feel you need to transfer to the first flywheel. Note that if you do have too much momentum on the TikTok, it can make contact with you while you are still on the flywheel. From the first flywheel, go to the second flywheel, grabbing the red sections only, straight to the trampoline, and as many jumps as you need, get up to the salmon ladder bar and dismount past the line of tape onto the yellow platform. Up next, going straight to the fidget spinner, complete a lâché to the high bar, and then a lâché to the fidget spinner, a lâché to the next high bar, a lâché to the last fidget spinner, and then dismount onto the yellow platform. The adults and masters division will all have the same warp wall, which is the top of the high warp wall. You get 3 attempts to get to the top and hit the buzzer to end your run. Your best attempt is the one that will count.